this is Arunava Chaudhuri and you are on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. Today I want to talk about the AIFF Academy Accreditation Program. The 2025 results were announced by the Federation on Thursday, September 11th, with 142 academies taking part to try and first of all get accredited by the AIFF, and then if they pass the test to get 1 to maximum 5 stars. That's the process which has now been in place for a number of years. The grading has also been there, and over the years, the academies have been able to get better. And I want to talk about some of the things which are positive and negative in the way that the changes that the AIFF have brought into the 25-26 season. Let's start with the fact that there are 3 academies who have gotten a 5-star rating. They are Punjab FC, Bengaluru FC, as well as the Reliance Foundation Young Champs program. And then there are 4 academies who have received a 4-star rating, which include Minerva Academy FC, Alchemy International Football Academy, Jamshedpur FC / Tata Football Academy, as well as FC Madras. So that's the good part, a very good part of that program. And another thing which is good is that the AIFF wants to have a total of 80 teams playing in a group stage format of 10 groups of 8 teams each, meaning that they will guarantee a minimum of 14 matches in this phase. And under the system, ISL teams, I-League clubs, state-nominated academies and 5- and 4-star academies will go directly into the group stage, while others will compete in the qualifying rounds. That's the positive, because we have had problems over the years to try and create a national structure of ensuring that our young footballers, under 13, under 15, under 17, actually play enough. I think that the AIFF needs to find a mixed solution. I think in certain states, in certain regions, you could have better local competitions. Let's talk about Kolkata and the IFA. Let's talk about the Goa Football Association and their youth program. So maybe we need to find mixed hybrid modules of being able to do that. But still, I think it's a good step. Another question which is not answered, which seems to be the problem of the transitional phases, under 13, under 15, under 17, which used to be under 18 in the past. Is it possible to consider to create an under 19 category to give the transitional boys from 16 to 22 a chance to get enough exposure? I think that's a very, very important part which has not been addressed. But still, these are good steps, these are positive steps, and we'll have to see how this pans out and works out. But the AIFF themselves have announced what they call the accreditation process introduced a number of progressive measures to make the system more inclusive and performance-oriented. And I think there is already the first mistake that the AIFF is doing. Performance-oriented at the grassroots and youth level is a nice thing to have. But for me, I will shift my focus rather from trying to develop players, rather to having talent at that time. What happens to the late bloomers? Because some of the positive steps, which I think is, you get additional points if you're fielding girls teams in youth categories. Also, if you are having female staff involved in the academy ecosystem. Those are positive steps. But on the other side, the performance factor, which is being added as a key factor. The AIFF says, with academies rewarded for their team's results in previous youth league campaigns, their evaluation further encouraged local player development by awarding points to academies that consistently field players developed within their own system. In addition, academies that contributed players to the national teams and the FIFA Talent Development Scheme, TDS Academy, were recognized with bonus points. Grassroots development itself received a fresh impetus because the Blue Clubs leagues have been extended to a 14-week format. That's again a good thing. But to me, my aim is to get as many kids as possible to play in my system. And one side, the AIFF talk about an inclusive system, but on the other side, I am creating sort of battle lines between academies to force players through to be good enough either to go into the AIFF FIFA Academy or to become youth internationals, rather than working on the overall development of teams. Why don't I have a criteria that I say, listen, if I have registered a minimum of 30 players, that each player has a minimum of X number of minutes, and then you get a bonus, because that is something which we're not factoring in. I have a lot of boys who are on rosters of academies who are getting limited to no game time at all. How do I sort that? That is one of the things. The idea of performance-oriented results is a nice one. In Europe, they're doing the counter thing. They are being inclusive in trying to give minutes to every child, to every kid involved. Because again, we go back. There are early bloomers and there are late bloomers. We will always go, the most famous example most probably was Freddie Adu in the United States, who at 13, 14 people thought he would be a global superstar. And sadly, he never reached the level of what he could have. There are other players. In an Indian context, let's talk about Sunil Chhetri. Sunil Chhetri, yes, joined at a very early age Mohun Bagan. But when he left Mohun Bagan, he wasn't the finished product. There were questions about it. Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, yes, very, very young, was part of the Indian national team setup, was East Bengal #1, but only that starback stint made him to what he is today. So therefore, I need to find means and ways. I need to find a middle path between, on one side, development, but on the other side also on how I give players a chance who are maybe at that age of 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, maybe not ready, but in the future could still become professionals. There is that key element, in my opinion, where you need to find a middle path in regard to development. And again, I need to not incentivize winning at under 13, under 15, under 17 level, because my real output should be, rather than this, who amongst these boys actually in the long run becomes a professional footballer? That is my real test. And maybe that is something which the AIFF, the technical department, needs to really look at and maybe think about when they come out with their ideas and plans for 26, 27. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? You've got something else to say, maybe to add? Write those things down in the comments below. And as always, like, share and subscribe Arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias, visit arunfoot.com, and I'll be back very soon. So Arunava Chaudhuri signing off. Bye for now.